A conversation with Kyle Rino of the Monster Card Shop, opening a new sports card shop in Queen Creek, Arizona. Hey, thanks for listening to the Splendid Sports Podcast. My conversation today on this episode is with Kyle Rino. He's opening a new sports card shop in Queen Creek, Arizona called the Monster Card Shop. This is really great news for me personally, as I live only 10-15 minutes away. And really, it's an area right now that has no card shops currently. So it's in great need, in my opinion. One of the biggest benefits of the recent explosion in interest in sports cards is that new sports card shops are actually opening across the country. And as you'll hear in our conversation, Kyle isn't building a shop, like you and I grew up going to. Not to take anything away from those shops. I have great memories when I was a kid going to them. But, it's 2021, and Kyle's building a new type of card shop, I believe, that gives the customer a new experience and a new feel. So even if you don't live in Arizona like I do, this is a conversation that I think is a great one to listen to because it gives you insight into what the future of sports card shops really look like. So here we go. Kyle,
Yep, I'm here.
how you doing?
Good, you?
Good, man. Thanks for joining.
I'm excited. You're welcome.
I mentioned when we chatted yesterday that I'm local to you. I live in Chandler, and a little while back, I happened to catch wind that there was a new card shop opening in Queen Creek. Can you give me just a little background on what you're opening, when you're opening it, a little timeline on that?
Yeah, so we've been running a long-standing break group we started in Illinois, but we moved to Queen Creek area 2 years ago, and I'm originally from here. And so we've been running a break group for a long time out here, and we decided, well, it's time to open up a shop. We've been wanting to open up a shop for a long time, but it's really difficult, I think, to open up a shop when you're running breaks in the background all the time, because it's a lot more work than just running the breaks out of the shop that we are. So, we have to add employees and whatnot, but we finally said, okay, let's go ahead and do it. But our goal was not to open up, like your everyday shop. It was like, man, I grew up going to shops. In fact, I think I grew up going to Hot Corner, which is on maybe Power and Baseline out in Mesa. And we said, let's not open up a normal shop. Let's do something different. No slat wall on the walls. The normal shelving you see everywhere. No boxes everywhere. People digging through singles. We want to open up something a little bit different. So it's going to be kind of a hybrid. We'll have a bunch of arcade machines in there. Tons of boxes, probably 400 to 600 different brands of boxes in there at a time. Mostly all hobby that we've kind of collected throughout the years from the break site. But we just, we wanted to put a lot of time, a lot of effort. So it's taken a long time for us to be able to get to this point due to the fact that the hobby exploded, pandemic, and we're still trying to keep up. So, but we're 2 months away. That's my guess, is we're 2 months away from a shop in Queen Creek. And we really hope that it kind of changes the way we see shops. Like, I don't want it to be the status quo. We want it to be just a little bit better, and we want it to surprise people when they walk in.
The 2021 version of a card shop.
Yeah, so yes, exactly. We think it needs to get up to date. I don't know. I have that personal feeling. I feel like they're all kind of similar now. And we just wanted to do something different and make it just like I said, no slat wall everywhere where people are just hanging random stuff and interchangeable. It's going to be um, a much different shop than I think anybody's seen, especially out here in Arizona. Um, I don't even think it's gonna be close to anything that we've seen.
I when I heard about it, I got really excited because I'm originally from Massachusetts and I've been out here about 10 years now. The area that we're in, Chandler, Gilbert, Mesa, Queen Creek, it's really ripe for something like you're building. As you know, there's a ton of people that live out here. The population is immense. As far as I know, there really, even traditional card shops, there really aren't many of them, are there?
So there's Pete, Showtime Sports Cards in Tempe, who
Yes.
I go and see um, quite a bit. He's an incredible person. I love the shop. I love the um, but he's in Tempe, so I don't know that I consider Tempe East Valley anymore, considering the East Valley continues to get more east. Uh, so,
Right.
um, yeah, there's Hot Corner in Mesa. Um, they've been there quite a long time. It's a smaller shop, owned by I think Phil Ranella, um, and I think he took it over from a person who owned it back when I was up, which would have been in the early '90s. That's been there for a while, um, but once again, when it comes to Queen Creek, Chandler, East Mesa, and Gilbert, there's nothing. There's nothing at all, actually. Um, you have to fight to get any sort of cards at Walmart, and you can't get them at Target anymore. So options are very, very limited.
From what I heard, it's going to be a big location, right, that you're building?
It's big, and we're trying to make it bigger. So it's 3,800 square feet as we speak. We're looking into already expanding the size. Obviously, that has to do with the people next to us, but the opportunity there to expand, it is there. 3,600 to 3,800 square feet. We do have an office space that takes a little bit of that up, but it's a large shop for a sports card shop. I think we're typically used to 1,800 to 2,100 square feet for the most part. Those are traditionally what we walk into. Um, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit larger than a normal, well, than existing card shops normally are. Um, so we're excited about that because we want people to be able to not be crowded. We want people to be able to hang around, lounge around, and be comfortable. And that's going to be, the important part of what we're trying to do.
And that's the image I always have too when I think about card shops, especially growing up, is you kind of feel like I'm walking in, I'm going to be cramped. There's not a lot of room. That same feeling that I feel like I'm excited because it sounds like you're completely going away from that, and it's a new reimagined type of card shop that I think is just really, when people walk in of all ages, I think they're going to be really excited to see something like this. So that was one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you, because I want to help get that word out, do my small part too in the local market through this podcast.
And I'm super appreciative of that. Like, that is awesome. I went on your website before this, and I really like that you're local, that I get to be a part of a local podcast and talk about this a little bit. Um, and we plan on doing like a grand opening, a ribbon cutting, and all that. And we want everybody in the sports card community, whether you're a shop owner out on the west side or you're a card collector out on the west side, we want you to come and hang out with us for at least that first week we're open, and check us out and see, like, hey, is it going to be worth my 45-minute drive to come? And we really truthfully believe it's going to be. So that's our goal.
Will there be any singles, anything like that, whether it's modern or vintage? Would you have like an area for that where you sell? I know singles are a lot more work to put together for a card shop, but will you have any of that?
Singles are a ton of work. We are going to have singles. We're going to focus on graded singles. for many reasons. I think the part of the um, kind of the off-putting part of a sports card shop is like when you go in and you buy a single and you've got an owner or an employee and a customer all the time like haggling over the condition of the card, what's it worth? And I think one way to kind of alleviate that is to sell a lot more slabs. It doesn't matter what slab they're in, PSA, BGS, the 6 other companies that are starting up right now. We want most of our singles to be slabbed, unless they're like, so we'll have like a 10 cent, obviously single section where nobody cares about the condition of a 10 cent card. So we can all, just we collect those cards because we love those players or um, we need them for a set. So those will be available too. But most of the singles that we have are going to have for sale are going to be slabs. Um, the question that I've been getting asked is, well, a lot of people can't afford slab cards or graded cards. Well, we've been doing our due diligence on that, and we're buying, it doesn't matter the grade. So we're buying PSA 5s, 6s, 7s, 8 of modern cards, which then put it into an affordability category where someone could come in with a $20 bill and buy a graded card of their favorite player. So um, that's our goal. I think it alleviates the negotiation part and the uncomfortable part of, you know, that back and forth between the owner and the customer. It's like, hey, it's got a price, it's slabbed, you can comp it easily. Pick your card and come up to the counter and let's everybody's happy because you know what you're getting.
I love that because I think the slab market graded cards is a huge opportunity. I know there's a large portion of people, myself included, that uh, would prefer that if I can to buy a card. I'd rather buy a card in person, where I can actually physically look at the card before I buy it, rather than over the internet where you can see pictures, but it's not always what it's cracked up to be online. So I think there's a lot of people, and this would go too for. There's a growing amount of people that want to go to card shows, and I mean, as far as I know, there's not a ton compared to other states, especially with the amount of people that Arizona has. There's really not a lot of card shows, big card shows that are out here. So I feel like, that's a huge opportunity for a card shop like yours to give that same experience where they can buy in person, but without having to go to a big card show. They can come to your shop and do that.
I agree. Card shows, I know I've been to quite a few here lately here in Arizona. They're packed. Everyone I go to is packed. One of the issues that I have been seeing though is um, they're very repetitive. It's the same guys at the same tables, the same cards, almost every show. Where um, with a shop, theoretically, we're going to have a rolling inventory all the time. People coming in selling their stuff, so then we'll be able to put it back up. We're going to continuously be actively buying cards everywhere. Whether we go to, for example, we're going to a show in Dallas this weekend just to buy for the shop, just so we can get more inventory in there. So I think you're right. I mean, it'll be a place where if someone just, hey, on my lunch break, I want to come in and I just want to see what you've got. Maybe there's a card I have in mind that I want to look for. Our hope is that we have it, and if we don't, you can find something else that you enjoy in your price range. And I think that's going to be a big part of what we're trying to do. So I agree. I mean, it's going to be a great way if there's not a show going on, especially on a Wednesday night, and you want to go buy cards or look at cards, just come in, and we'll be here.
And you mentioned selling. That was the other question I was going to ask too. So hypothetically, if let's say I have, a graded PSA card that, let's say it's worth, it's valued at, $1,000, something like that. I could potentially come down to your shop, and now obviously you got to look at it from your perspective too. You're going to be buying cards, I would imagine, below, a certain percentage below what is online, right? Because you're a store. You're looking to buy something that you can then sell for the going rate, right? So you got to make money. You're in business for that. So what is there a range where, like, if someone came in where, it's even $100 card. What's the going rates for card shops as far as like, what's an expected price that if it's something you want that you would pay? Is it 80, 70%, 80%, or what? Do you have any idea on that?
That's an awesome question, and I had this conversation with one of my business partners yesterday. He runs a store in Alabama called Sports Nuts, and he gets people coming in all the time selling cards. And I asked him, I said, I said, what are you paying right now? And he said, the funny thing is, about 8-10 years ago, the common thing was 50%. 50% at what we value it, then we'll 90% as quick as we can. And that's definitely changed with eBay, with how we comp things. I think the going rate right now is 80% for shops. I think that's fair. Especially if you can get cash in hand, it's extremely fair. So for example, if you have $1,000 card and you want to get cash in hand that day, I think taking $800 isn't a bad deal for you. If you want to sell it on eBay for the 1,000, you're going to pay the 12% eBay fees, and you're down to 880 anyways. So
that's a great. I was going to say that is a huge point to make sure people understand is, number one, it's not easy to sell cards online. You got to go through the work of trying to sell it yourself, which you got to take pictures, or if you want to consign it with somebody online, you're going to pay, you're, like you said, you're 10, 12% or more on certain cards. So, to be able to do that, that's a huge opportunity for people in this area. It's so much easier to be able to go down to your local card shop and do a cash deal or whatever, where you can avoid all the shipping. And I mean, I think that is huge.
You avoid the return headache. You
Yeah.
avoid the person trying to do something shady. When they get the card in, I've seen all the time where they're trying to switch cards out, send them back. I mean, it's a mess. You avoid all that, and I think when we're here a while, we're going to be able to establish the trust that people are going to have in us to be able to come and bring their cards in and understand that, like, hey, we want to help you sell your card. If you want to consign it with us, we're going to have that option too. So if you think that, hey, I don't want to take the 80%. I think I can get more because maybe the value on this prospect, you feel like it's going to go higher. We are more than happy to also consign cards for you. Hold it, keep it in our safe or our vault, and we'll hold it for you, so you don't have to worry about it. We'll have it online. We'll consign it, and you'll just pay the consignment fee. So people are going to have that option too. If they're not in a rush, we're willing to use our eBay rating to sell your cards for you as well. So there's going to be tons of options that we're going to bring to the table for customers to where they're going to feel good about selling their cards to us or with us. So we're going to have that as well.
I love it. Now lastly, I got to ask you, I know it's so new that no one really knows too much, but did the Fanatics news, how did you take that? Is that going to change anything as far as in the immediate future for you, or is it full speed ahead and that's down the road and not something to really worry about at this point?
If I were to tell you I'm not worried, I would be lying to you. So, we are one of the larger brake companies in the country, so we have a really nice allocation from distributors, where we're able to get tons of stuff direct from 4 different places. And with Fanatics taking over, it's scary. I mean, they like to do a lot of direct to consumer, so we don't know how that's going to work. It's kind of a wait and see. So for me to really tell you, oh, we're not worried, everything's great, I guess I'd be lying. But in the meantime, it can't slow us down. We have to continue to go through with our plans. We can't plan based on speculation that we don't know is going to be true. So we're going to continue to roll ahead. We're not going to cut corners on the shop because of this news. We're going to keep going and just kind of make the best of it and live in the now, because it looks like the hobby is going to rapidly change in the next 24 months is my guess.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of it is out of your control or anyone's control. So I think, you know, what I really liked hearing from you too is you're involved in a lot of different ends of it too. So as far as, you know, buying, selling, you know, breaking, but also I think the customer service aspect, that you'll have time if you know, if you're open in a couple months before there's any huge changes. I feel like you know, you'll have time to really develop a customer base. I think as long as you can be nimble, like it sounds like you guys are, regardless of what happens, you'll still be able to be very successful. You know, with having a physical location. But I do understand, you know, that's when you guys took the plunge, right? It's a big thing, right? To say, all right, we're going to open up a card shop. You know, to hear this type of news, I wanted to bring it up because, yeah, I mean, it's not something you had planned on, I'm sure.
No. It came out of nowhere. One, and then for them to buy the three major sports pretty much all at once was pretty crazy. I mean, when you think about it, you know, there's a lot of talk about them still continuing to buy Panini and Tops and having them manufacture. But one thing that we have to come to realize is there is a possibility that Prism is gone as we know it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's a possibility that Topps Chrome is gone as we know it. There's a possibility that National Treasures and Flawless past 2023 or whatever the date is just won't exist anymore. So Fanatics will have their own brands unless they are able to buy those brands from those companies. And we don't know if that's going to be able to happen. So the card market, the industry, I mean, overnight took a massive turn, and we just don't know where it turned yet. So um, we'll see. I mean, it's it's kind of crazy to think about, but um, I guess we just have to keep waiting and figuring out the next news based on all of this. Um, Fanatics has never manufactured a card ever, and now they have all three major licenses. So I don't know where that leaves us.
It was crazy to see how quickly that all came together. Real, I mean, it was a, yeah. I think everyone's still kind of just in a state of shock that's involved in the industry, and really just kind of seeing where things go next. But um, yeah, I'll tell you, from me, I'm very excited. Just selfishly on a local level here, I'm really excited about you guys opening. Is it just you, or I mean, how many partners do you have in the shop?
Yeah, so it's me, my longtime girlfriend and partner, who's also a owner in the shop. So Curtis Fulaney, who is been my longtime partner as well. He runs that shop in Alabama, but he's been with us and breaking with us and one of our exclusive breakers for a long time. He'll be doing all the consignment work, and then we've got other employees that are coming in October that we've hired to help us in the shop with other back end sorts of things. Right now, as we speak, we already have 9 employees roughly. So um, we are we're ready. Uh, we just need essentially we're just waiting on the build out to be done, and we're ready for you guys. We're super excited. It's hard to explain like how excited I think everybody is for what we think this is going to be, but all of us are ready, and um, we want you guys to come in and have a great time. And if you guys, the one thing that I do want to say too is if you need stuff now, we're we're open. You can come in. The shop's not done or anything, but if you need anything now, you can always just message us, find us, and on Facebook or on Instagram or on Twitter or on our website, or you can even text my phone number, which we've got listed, and ask if I have anything, and you're more than welcome to pick it up. We have several guys already doing that. So
So your existing website is monsterbreaks.com. That's the site you've had in place for a while for your breaking company. Will you
yes.
have a separate website for the shop, or are you going to just integrate into one website?
Nope. So we will have a separate website for the shop. It'll be the monstercardshop.com. And then the break company is actually launching a very modern app for breaking, which will be one of the first major kind of where you're going to be able to watch the breaks right on your app, do everything. So we're going to integrate the Monster Card Shop into that as well. So they will be two separate websites because, for our local people, we want them to go to the Monster Card Shop because that's specifically for you locals. We want that to be your thing, where our break site is more international. We've got people buying from everywhere. That's a completely separate entity for us. So we want the Monster Card Shop to be exclusively for you local guys. So they are going to be a separate site. They're not going to be integrated together, but they will have, they'll have some of the same things on each website.
Awesome. So if it's all right with you, I'd love to do a part 2 to this, maybe in a couple months when the grand opening is ready to happen, if that works.
I would love that. I'm excited. Yep. I'll come on whenever you'd like me to. Anytime you want, I'm available, and I like to talk cards with anybody. So anytime you want to have me on, I'm ready to go.
Man, I'm in my head. I'm like, man, I hope those contractors work even faster. I want to get into this place. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
All right. So our conversation just got cut off right at the very end there as we were parting ways. But one of my biggest takeaways from that call with Kyle is that the Monster Card Shop's really going to be a sports card service center in my mind. It sounds like a place where, you can go obviously there to buy cards, whether it's boxes or you heard him talk about graded singles, but sell your cards. You could consign your cards to their eBay account and they'll sell them for you, or even submit your cards for grading. We didn't really talk about that, but they'll also be doing submissions to grading companies for you. It's a one-stop shop for everything you'll need, and it's with a new and modern look and feel. I really enjoyed that conversation, and I'll tell you, I'm very much myself looking forward to being a customer when they open. Once again, the current website is monsterbreaks.com. That's for their breaking company. But the new website for the shop locally will be the monstercardshop.com. And as you heard Kyle say, they're also launching a new app for the breaking company. So awesome things are on the way. Thanks again for listening, and stay tuned for part 2 with Kyle in the near future, hopefully. Make sure to subscribe to Splendid Sports Podcast on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Follow us on Twitter so that you can make sure you hear when all the episodes come out. Bye for now.